Hey, loungers. I hope everybody is doing as great as I am this evening. We're not going to be very long this evening, guys, but I wanted to talk real quick before I get settled in the bed tonight because, there's been a little bit of talk from Carrie Ann. As you guys know, I will definitely address this bitch whenever I feel like it if she decides to say something stupid, okay? So it just happens to be that sometimes I'll hear some of the things she says in bits and pieces. And the whole conversation that we had with Slander Guys on his show the other day, I heard bits and pieces of it at the time, and so I've been able to hear bits and pieces later on. And shout out to Shakim because he did play a lot of the conversation that we had, and so I was able to hear some of the things that she said. And one of the things that Carrie Ann had said is that she's not going to sue me for saying that she has HIV because, quote unquote, I have nothing. And it would cost her more to sue me than it would to just simply, let it go, right? And I said, is that really so, right? Because, first of all, there's a couple of things when it comes to a lawsuit. Number one, if you really want to sue somebody in a lawsuit, it really doesn't matter what kind of money that they have or anything like that. And that's the purpose of talking to an attorney about things like this so that they can help you understand those kinds of things, okay? Because there are ways to get after somebody and to collect on a lawsuit from someone if even if that person quote unquote doesn't appear to have any money or what you think they don't have, okay? But either way, she said that it would cost her more money to uh, open up the lawsuit, right? To get an attorney, to do all these things, than to just let it go. And I wanted to go ahead and prove today that that's not even true. And actually, how simple it is to file a lawsuit against someone in the state of Georgia for defamation, okay? So bear with me one moment while I share my screen. I hope you guys are doing well. Y'all hit the like button on the way in, and I do appreciate y'all being in the building this evening. And again, we are not going to be very long, but I just wanted to share this with you guys because, you know, this is what is being said, that it would be difficult to sue someone if they feel or it would be difficult to sue someone in the event that they claim they have no money or they think, that this person is broke or whatever the case may be. So, the first thing I want to say is if you do want to sue somebody and you do want to go after that person, and even if you think that person can't pay, here's the thing. If someone is lying on you, right, about your sexual health and so forth and so on, and they're using specific things about your sexual health, like using specific wording such as this person has HIV or this person has a specific loathsome disease, okay? Then you can call what's called you can sue them with what's called per se defamation per se, okay, and that is in the state of Georgia. So I'm going to go over this with you guys because I want you guys to understand, Carrie Ann in particular, how simple this would be, and that you don't even need a lawyer in order to do this. Okay, so, if you were worried about costs and how you wouldn't want to spend all this, absorbent amounts of money in order to sue me, okay, I'm here to let you know that that's a lie, okay? So, in order to sue, because what I did was I asked this particular question to AI, since you like to ask AI questions, I was going to go ahead and ask AI this question as well. I said, a woman in Tucker, Georgia has publicly slandered me on YouTube by claiming I have HIV and I don't. What is the cost to sue her without an attorney? Okay. Now, you can get an attorney, and of course, it would obviously cost a lot more, but you don't need an attorney to file a lawsuit against someone. Okay. That's just number one. So if you wanted to do this, and you claim that I am lying on your medical records, as you've claimed, right? then it would be very easy for you to prove that I'm lying. All you'd have to do is take your own medical records, take what I've said, compare what I've said based off of your when compare your medical records to the courts, and there you go, right? If I'm lying, it's going to come out to the court. It wouldn't matter what the end result is to me because ultimately that is my credit that has to deal with that, right? Ultimately, I would still have a judgment against me if I'm lying on you, okay? And then, then I would have this judgment against me and, my credit would be completely ruined. That is how you would get somebody. So it wouldn't matter whether I could quote unquote afford it or not, Carrie Ann. The point is, you would be able to stop me in my tracks from telling lies on you, right? Like you're claiming that I'm doing, and you would actually be able to physically and financially ruin me, okay, with these kinds of things. So let's see if, like you said, it would cost you more money to actually sue me for lying on you than it would for you to just let it go. To sue a woman in Tucker, Georgia, without an attorney, your primary out of pocket cost, Carrie Ann, will be roughly $89 to $105, covering the filing fee and one instance of sheriff's service. Okay? So, the exact court jurisdiction and breakdown of costs to file pro se, representing yourself in your local area, the cost breakdown at Magistrate Small Claims Court. Since you live in Tucker, Georgia, your case falls under DeKalb County jurisdiction. Filing fee is $54, Carrie Ann. The sheriff's service fee is $35 to formally serve me lawsuit papers. Optional additional fees, $35 per additional defendant if I move to a different county and require the county sheriff to serve me. Okay, so of course, because I live in a different state, we're going to look up what the cost of that would be. Okay, so the total estimated cost is $89 so far if you want to take me to small claims magistrate court, Carrie, right? So, court limits and jurisdiction. Jurisdiction: if you are suing for 15,000 or less, you must file in the DeKalb County Magistrate Court. Damages exceeding $15,000. If your damages exceed this amount, your case must be escalated to the DeKalb County Superior Court, which features higher filing fees. Okay? So let's look into this and see what some of the legal hurdles that you have, Carrie Ann, since again, you claim I'm lying on your medical records. Defamation per se. Falsely accusing someone of having a communicable infectious disease like HIV/AIDS is classified as defamation per se. In Georgia, this means the law inherently assumes the statement is damaging, and you do not need to prove specific financial loss to win the case. This is what I've been telling you this whole time. Statute of limitations. Defamation lawsuits in Georgia must be filed within 1 year of the date the statement was published. So, again, tonight I am publishing this again to the public that I am saying, according to your medical records, you have HIV. Okay? Preserving evidence. Before initiating a lawsuit, you must gather and preserve proof, take screenshots, record or download the video, and keep copies of any communications that act as evidence she made the claim. Carrie, I've put it all together for you in a nice little playlist called Bugsy's Blues, okay? You can look at it for yourself. You can download it. You can give this to the courts as evidence of me, quote unquote, lying on you, okay? But again, this is how easy it is for you to file this lawsuit when you're claiming it's all this money that you got to come up with, and this money wouldn't be worth it against me not being able to pay it, right? So let's see if that's really true according to all this, because are you saying you don't have $89? Because that's all it would cost you to sue me in court, okay? Now, if you need any additional information, you of course can look this information up yourself. You can do your own research on this, But I definitely wanted to share with you, Carrie, okay, that, honey, it is not difficult for you to sue a bitch, okay, over defamation if you're claiming that I'm lying about you having HIV. Because I'm not lying about that. All I'm looking at is what your medical record said, okay? So if I'm lying, I expect for you to file against me. Now, I'm going to look up one more thing. I want to look up one more thing. One moment, guys. Give me just a second. We're almost done here. I'm just asking AI a question real quick. Bear with me one moment. We're just going to look up what would happen in the case of, you suing me since I live in the state of Delaware. Okay, let's go. Now, I'm going to give you this right here because it costs a little bit more to sue outside of the state of Georgia. Okay, so what I asked Carrie Ann was if a woman in Delaware says I have HIV and I don't, what would be the cost to sue her without an attorney? I live in Tucker, Georgia. Suing a resident in Delaware from your home in Tucker, Georgia without an attorney is technically possible but highly complex. Because you would be suing out of state, your court filing costs for a civil defamation suit could range from $100 to $400 in court fees, in addition to expenses for process servers to properly serve her. Okay? Now, let's go into it. Under Delaware law, falsely accusing someone of having a sexually transmitted disease like HIV is classified as defamation per se. This means you do not have to prove specific financial damages, Carrie. The law presumes the statement is inherently damaging to your reputation. Okay? Let's look a little bit further. Jurisdiction. To sue her, you would generally have to file the lawsuit in Delaware court systems where she resides or where the defamatory statements were published, which means navigating their local court rules from Georgia. Statute of limitations. You generally have a strict 2 year deadline to file a defamation claim in Delaware. So, look, Carrie, it's even longer. Okay? The cost. While the initial cost of representing yourself pro se is limited to filing fees, summons costs, and obtaining evidence, the hidden costs involve your own time, travel to Delaware for hearings, and the risk of the case being dismissed if the forms are filed incorrectly. So all you have to do is just make sure you file correctly, right? Make sure you a rich bitch. You can travel back and forth to Delaware, right? And just go ahead and file your court case. That's all you have to do. See, I made this so easy for you, Carrie. I made this so easy for you. You already have the address on how to get a hold of me, right? So I'm just waiting for the paperwork at this point. So now you have no excuse. Now you know what the cost is in the state of Georgia to sue for defamation, and you also know what the cost is in the state of Delaware to sue for defamation. Okay? So I'll be waiting for the court records and the court paperwork from you to sue me since you claim that I am lying about your medical records. Y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all for tuning in. And hey, Triggs and Joe and Mikey and everybody that's in the clouds. Peace, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.